Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start on this project, and what I'm going to do first, to protect the sides so I don't get paint on them, I'm going to take the painter's tape, or paper tape, whichever you want to call it, and we're going to frame the sides of it so that it protects it from getting paint, and I don't have to worry about it when I am in the middle of fixing it. Okay. Just make sure you get it close to the glass as possible. Seal your edges good. Now this one is already done because this is the one I'm going to start on, and I'll get to the other ones as soon as I get to those. So in this first one we're going to put spring, and to begin we're going to do, you always want to start with your background. So I'm going to start with the sky, and then we're going to let it dry before we apply anything else to it. So with spring, I have mixed up some orange, I've got some blue, and some white. That way we have a good sunrise color. I'm going to put just some orange on there. Okay. I'm going to go into some white. And then your blue. And what I have is just a piece of like a household sponge. Any kind of sponge will do. There's different ones that you can get at Walmart that look more like a sea sponge. But sponge is a sponge to me. So we're just going to take it and we're going to dab the paint. Sponges blend very, very well. And you notice I started in that dark color, and as soon as I was happy with it, I then step into the white. You don't want to go dark into light, because then that's going to muddy up your light color and it's just going to be pointless. And it's going to continue on, and then I'm going to dab into that blue. And I am standing in front of a fan, so this paint's going to dry a little bit faster than normal. So I'm trying to work quickly. And remember, you don't have to worry about getting paint on the side because of that tape. And the sponge along the side here is going to give it that really good, if you want to look closer, that really blended out cut like frame around it, so it's not such a harsh edge. I can't talk. I got to have my fans, y'all. I can't stand to be hot. Alright, so I'm going to go back into that white and bring it down. All I did was dip it into my white. But a sponge, it soaks up a lot of paint. So you can go with it for a good ways. You see how much more paint that was than what I just put on there. And I'm just going to fade this up to the top. And we're going to go back and blend all this together. So I'm going to switch to where I had the blue on this, and I'm going to come right up through here to the center, and we're just going to pat it so it blends together. It looks a little more natural. You're going to have that perfect fade that's going to help out your blending. Okay? And then I'm going to dip back into that orange. This is a dark orange, so it really helps to have that white beside it. Alright, and we're going to patch that together with that white. And if I'm not happy with this orange, I can always go back and change it. This is just setting a base tone color for the background. The great thing about painting is that you can always paint over what you don't like after you've tried it. And I'm thinking maybe I'm going to go back in here with a hint of pink, something to make it pop. That way I'm working on spring, so therefore it's not going to be too fall-like inspired. And so I just put in some, it's called Candy Pink. And I'm going to go into that orange right there and blend. And blend. And that is beautiful. And you can see, let me show you close up. You can see how that orange has toned down to this really pretty coral color for that sun. I'm gonna make the sun in this corner, so this is like your sunrise. And we're gonna go down through here. And we're just gonna mark it together. Look at that. Beautiful. But of course, painting is done in many layers, so therefore we are only getting started. And since it is glass, I do have to let it dry completely before I can go in and paint on top, because working with glass is a little bit different than working with a canvas. To let it dry completely, because if I don't and I go to paint on top of this, it's just going to take off right what I just painted. So letting the paint dry and set up is the best option to go with. And once we're finished with this, we're going to have to cover them with Mod Podge, which you can get at Walmart. Sometimes even Mighty Dollar has it. and you can always get it at Hobby Lobby. But what it is just a clear coat. If you do not know what Mod Podge is, it is just a clear coat that goes over top, and it kind of seals it. So therefore, this is not going to scratch off. It's not going to come off. It's not going to wash off. So that just secures it a little bit. I didn't like that big little thing there. And we're just going to let this dry. So, y'all have a safe Halloween. And I'm going to let this dry, and I'll get back with you to let you see the finish I should say progress of this. So, yeah, thanks for joining. And you want to see a close-up before you go? We just did this with a sponge, guys. We just did that with a sponge. And you can see, like, there's still some clear that's shooting through here. But by the time that we go ahead and put our next layer onto it, you're not going to be able to see that. Okay? All right. Have a good night.